Today we are in Saumur in the Loire Valley and we will visit the Musée de Blindés, the tank museum. Near the entrance one can see the interior of an American M24. It starts with World War I, a model of one of first tanks, the British Mark IV. It wasn't very successful. It didn't have any suspensions. The engine was located at the center of the tank and reached temperatures of 90 degrees. The Schneider CA1, the first French tank, it required 220 liters for 80 kilometers. The Saint-Chamond, the second French tank to enter service. There are 880 tanks in the collection, of which 250 are on display at any time. The driving controls of one of the first tanks, World War II, a Panther tank, the Panzer IV, some amphibious vehicles, the Kettenrad, a tracked motorcycle. It was produced also after the war, being popular for forestry work and vineyards. A Panzer II, a Marder first, an anti-tank tank based on captured French tanks. The Sturmgeschütz-Dritte, another anti-tank tank, some anti-aircraft guns, 88mm Flak 36-37, a M1542 of the Royal Italian Army, a Marmon Errington built in South Africa with pieces imported from USA and intended for the conflict in North Africa, where it arrived too late. It was used in the Arab-Israeli War and in the Cyprus conflict. A tank built secretly by the Resistance in 1944 in La Rochelle. A mannequin of an Italian tank driver next to a Semovente 7518 M40. A Tiger II. Each object has an interesting data sheet like this, providing technical and historical information, curiosities and old pictures. Some German radio with a red sign reading "The enemy is listening." A Bergepanther, a vehicle to recover tanks immobilized on the battlefield. A German Hummel destroyed by American tanks in 1944. A Jagdpanzer IV, also this one was hit. A room with tanks used by France during World War II. The FCM-36. The Simca 5, the French version of the Fiat 500 Topolino. The Renault UE, used as a armoured tracked carrier. The Saumur S-35, used by the French cavalry in the fighting of 1940. And here we are in the Cold War area. You can see a piece of Berlin's wall. The classical East Germany car, the Trabant. A Soviet T-54 captured by Israeli army and donated to the museum. A Chinese Type 69, prey of war by French army in Iraq. A Soviet T-62, as well, prey of war by French in Iraq. The Soviet BMP-1, a vehicle for transport and support of infantry. It was used in many conflicts like in Kippur and in Ukraine. The Soviet tank T-34-85, of which 16,000 units were produced till the end of World War II. a BTR-152V, a BTR-70, the popular armored personnel carrier of the Warsaw Pact, a Yugoslavian BOV-3 captured by French parachutists in Bosnia, a Soviet PT-76, an amphibious tank. It could float in water and be propelled by hydrojets. A ZSU-23-4 Shilka, an anti-aircraft tank. You can notice the radar on the back, and this is the interior. And here we have the Anglo-American tanks. A Centaur Mk-4. During the D-Day, it was put on barges and used as artillery. A Su-100, the best Soviet tank destroyer. This specific unit was actually captured during the Suez Crisis. M4 Sherman, the most widely used tank by the Western Allies, and the Sherman Firefly, a British modification. A M31 tank recovery vehicle. As you can notice, the guns were fake, just to trick the enemy. Of course, an American Jeep is a must. And here are some of the vehicles used by the French in Algeria and Indochina. The Half-Track M2, the LVT-4 Alligator, landing vehicle tracked, the M24 Chaffee. 10 of them were dismantled, sent by plane to Dien Bien Phu, reassembled and used during the battle. And who knew that for the French airborne troops, a modified Vespa with incorporated bazooka was produced in 1956. And now modern French tanks, the Leclerc produced since 1993, a Jeep with anti-tank rockets produced till the 90s, an AMX-30 in the version Engin Blindé de Déminage, used for demining. It was fitted with a Soviet deminer system and was used during the Gulf War. It was radio-controlled, allowing operator to drive and detonate mines up to 2 kilometers away. AML-90, AMX-30B2, fitted with a snorkel which allowed it to drive underwater. The AMX-30 Pluton, a tactical nuclear missile launcher. It could launch up to 120 kilometers. The Véhicule de l'Avant Blindé, VAB Mephisto, a rocket launcher. The EBR de Gaulle, which carried the coffin during General de Gaulle's funeral in 1970. And here another T-34, the main tank used by Soviet Army. A British Saladin. The British Conqueror in service between 55 and 65, which was the heaviest tank in the world. The Alvis Saracen, a familiar sight in Belfast during the Troubles. A rare sight in a museum, an Israeli Merkava. This is the emergency exit because the Merkava has the engine on the front as a further protection. There is a room about motors, one about models, a model of the Scherer Gustav, the biggest cannon. It was operated from a train. This is the international room with modern tanks from all over the world. M48A2, M60A3, the Lynx, German, a M114, a reconnaissance vehicle used by US in the Vietnam War. The Cascavel, Brazilian, an EBR ETT made for Portuguese Army and used in Angola. It had a driver's seat on both sides, enabling to drive forward or backward at the same fast speed. The Leopard 1, made by Porsche, which entered service in 1965 and was the standard battle tank of many European countries. And also outside there is a lot of stuff. An AMX-30 with original United Nations paintwork. An AMX-13 in anti-aircraft variant, and another one in bridge-laying variant. M4A2 Sherman course,